that very soon we will all see the building of the third temple.
The third temple in Jerusalem is closer than ever to becoming a reality. This isn't just speculation. The perfect red heifer has been approved. In a matter of months, the first stone of the third temple may be laid. The signs are all around us. Prophecy is unfolding before our eyes. Stay tuned, because what's coming next is truly shocking. The prophecy of the third temple has been a long-awaited vision for many. For centuries, it has lived in the hearts of believers, especially within Jewish and Christian traditions, awaiting its fulfillment. But now, things are happening at a pace that many consider to be divine intervention. The red heifer, the symbol of purification, has just been approved. In a matter of months, the first stone of the third temple may be laid. The signs are all around us. Prophecy is unfolding before our eyes. Stay tuned, because what's coming next is truly shocking. The prophecy of the third temple has been a long-awaited vision for many. For centuries, it has lived in the hearts of believers, especially within Jewish and Christian traditions, awaiting its fulfillment. But now, things are happening at a pace that many consider to be divine intervention. The red heifer, the symbol of purification, has just been approved. This is no small event. In fact, it may very well be the first step towards something far greater, the rebuilding of the third temple in Jerusalem. This is not just another historical event. It's a moment charged with spiritual significance, as the red heifer's role in biblical purification rituals makes it an essential part of the temple's restoration. Without it, the priests cannot be purified, and without purified priests, the temple services cannot begin. But what makes this moment even more powerful is that this isn't just about a single animal. It is a clear sign that something much bigger is unfolding. The stage is set for the construction of the third temple, and everything is falling into place. In September 2022, 5 young red heifers were flown into Israel from a ranch in Texas, carefully selected for their adherence to the strict biblical requirements. These animals have been raised under intense supervision, kept free from blemishes and defects, ensuring they meet the sacred standards described in Numbers 19 of the Old Testament. And now, in 2025, these red heifers are approaching the age required for sacrifice, 3 years old. For the first time in over 2,000 years, the red heifer could play its pivotal role in fulfilling ancient prophecy. The arrival of the red heifers is just the beginning of a much larger, unfolding prophecy. For thousands of years, no red heifer has met the strict criteria set forth in the Bible. According to the book of Numbers, the animal must be completely red with no more than 2 non-red hairs. It must have never been yoked, never used for labor, and must remain without blemish. These stringent requirements have made the search for the perfect red heifer nearly impossible. Until now. In September 2022, Israel received the long-awaited red heifers from the United States. These animals were raised under careful supervision to meet the biblical specifications. Now, after years of anticipation, these heifers are nearing the age of 3, the required age for their role in the purification ceremony. If at least one of them passes the rigorous inspection by trained rabbis, it could become the first red heifer used in purification rituals in over 2 millennia. This purification would allow the priests of the tribe of Levi to be cleansed, making them eligible to perform sacred duties in the third temple. But the question remains, how much longer will this divine moment take to unfold? Will the red heifer meet all the requirements, or will a new delay push the prophecy further into the future? As we stand at the crossroads of history, the reality of the third temple's reconstruction seems more imminent than ever, and with it, the fulfillment of age-old promises. As the red heifers reach the critical age of 3, the next steps are set in motion. For centuries, the Jewish people have dreamed of a rebuilt temple. But this dream seemed unattainable without the purification ceremony that the red heifer enables. In the past, there was no pure, unblemished red heifer, making it impossible to begin the process of temple restoration. However, with these newly arrived animals, Israel stands on the cusp of fulfilling a significant portion of prophecy. The purification ceremony, outlined in Numbers 19, is a pivotal moment. When one of the red heifers is declared suitable for sacrifice, its ashes will be used to purify the priests, allowing them to carry out sacred duties in the third temple. This ceremony is not just a religious act, it's the very first step in the physical reconstruction of the temple itself. The arrival of these red heifers signifies that all the preparations made by the Temple Institute, priestly garments, golden vessels, altars, and blueprints can finally be put into action.
The Temple Institute, which has been tirelessly working for decades, now stands ready to move forward. The first stone could be laid soon, marking the beginning of the Third Temple's construction. While many are watching with bated breath, there is still a sense of suspense. Will one of the red heifers be approved in time? And if it is, will the world be ready for the profound shift in spiritual and political dynamics that this act will trigger? The implications of the red heifer's approval extend far beyond the borders of Israel. For the Jewish people, it represents the final piece of the puzzle that has been missing for centuries. The rebuilding of the Third Temple is not just a physical structure, it is deeply tied to spiritual renewal, a return to divine order, and the fulfillment of biblical promises. For Jews, the temple represents a place of worship where God's presence will once again dwell among them. It's a restoration of the sacred space that was lost after the destruction of the Second Temple. But the significance of the Third Temple stretches even further, reaching into Christian eschatology. Many Christians believe that the rebuilding of the temple is a key sign in the fulfillment of end-time prophecy. Passages from the book of Revelation and the words of Jesus in Matthew 24 point to the temple as a pivotal symbol in the events leading to Christ's return. The reestablishment of a place of worship, along with the purification ceremony involving the red heifer, is seen as a major step in this larger prophetic timeline. As the world watches Israel's every move, the approval of the red heifer has drawn global attention, not just from religious communities, but from governments, media, and scholars alike. The political ramifications of rebuilding the temple are immense. The Temple Mount, where the Jewish temple is believed to have stood, is one of the most contested religious sites in the world. Any attempt to rebuild there could ignite tensions between Jews, Muslims, and Christians, each of whom holds the site sacred. But while the road to rebuilding the Third Temple is fraught with challenges, the red heifer's role cannot be overstated. It has been the missing link to initiate this monumental process. The question many ask is, why now? Why, after thousands of years, is this ancient prophecy beginning to unfold in our lifetime? The red heifer, which once seemed like an impossible task, is now a reality. The timing of these events is too perfect to ignore. Some believe that the world is witnessing the early signs of the fulfillment of prophecies long foretold in the Bible. The fact that the red heifer is nearing the age of 3 and could soon be sacrificed for the purification ritual is no coincidence. It aligns with an unfolding spiritual and prophetic timeline that stretches back to the very foundations of the faith. There are those who argue that this event marks the beginning of a profound transformation for Israel and the world. As the Third Temple draws closer, so too does the fulfillment of prophecies concerning the return of the Messiah. The religious and political significance of this moment cannot be overstated. The restoration of the temple would not only fulfill the expectations of Jews waiting for the return of a divine kingdom, but also signal a momentous shift in the Christian understanding of the end times. But while this is a time of hopeful anticipation, there is also a sense of urgency. The construction of the Third Temple is not merely a religious event, it is a global one. As tensions rise over control of Jerusalem and its sacred sites, the steps being taken today could trigger massive changes that ripple out to the farthest corners of the earth. The red heifer is the first domino to fall, but what happens next? What will the world do when the temple is built and the divine presence returns to the holiest place on earth? As the red heifer moves closer to fulfilling its sacred purpose, a wave of anticipation ripples through the hearts of those who believe in its prophetic significance. The Temple Institute's meticulous preparations over decades have created the foundation for this moment. Priest garments are ready, golden vessels, musical instruments, and even a full-scale model of the temple stand in place awaiting the ceremonial purification of the priests. The altar, built with precision and reverence, is prepared to receive the sacrifices. Everything is in position, but one essential piece remains: the red heifer. The red heifer's role is more than symbolic, it is practical. Without its ashes, the purification of the priests, the heart of the temple services, cannot begin. For the faithful, this ceremony represents a return to the divine order established in the Scriptures, a return to worship in the presence of God. And the purification ceremony doesn't just clear the priests, it signifies a fresh start, a new era for Israel and, by extension, the world. But with the arrival of these red heifers, the question emerges: will they pass the rigorous inspections required for sacrifice? They have been raised under strict supervision, free of blemishes, kept away from any defilement. But even the smallest imperfection could disqualify them. The pressure is mounting as the world waits for the moment when these animals will be examined. Will the moment of fulfillment finally arrive, or will another obstacle stand in the way of the Third Temple's construction?
The stakes are high, and the world is watching Israel closely. As the red heifers approach the final phase of their evaluation, their importance grows exponentially. For Jews, the red heifer's ashes will purify the priests, but for Christians, this moment is filled with greater significance. Many believe that the rebuilding of the Third Temple is directly tied to the return of the Messiah. The potential fulfillment of this prophecy could signal the closing chapter of an age and the ushering in of a new one marked by divine intervention. The anticipation around the temple's reconstruction isn't just about religious fulfillment, it's deeply intertwined with global geopolitics. The Temple Mount, the site where the temple once stood, is one of the most contested locations on Earth. Any attempt to rebuild there could escalate tensions between religious groups, triggering political unrest on an international scale. But despite the potential conflicts, the momentum toward reconstruction continues to build, with the red heifer serving as a key milestone in this prophetic journey. As the process progresses, it's clear that the construction of the Third Temple represents more than just a physical structure. It's the realization of a long-held dream for Israel and a key event in Christian eschatology. But as the first stone is poised to be laid, the world must ask, what will happen next? What impact will the arrival of the red heifer have on the political landscape? And will the world be ready for the monumental changes that lie ahead? With the red heifers now nearing the critical moment of evaluation, there's a growing sense that prophecy is unfolding at a rapid pace. The idea of the Third Temple's construction has transitioned from a distant hope to a tangible reality. But this reality raises questions that go beyond religion. What does this mean for the geopolitical landscape? The global community has already seen the tensions surrounding Jerusalem and its sacred sites. The potential for the construction of the Third Temple to ignite conflict is very real, and many are watching closely to see how this will unfold. But for those who believe in the prophetic significance of this moment, the implications are spiritual and eternal. The rebuilding of the Third Temple is viewed as the final step in a larger divine plan, one that was set in motion thousands of years ago. As the Temple Institute prepares for the ceremonial purification, and as the red heifers approach their moment of testing, the world stands at a precipice. There's more at play here than just an ancient tradition being revived. It's a symbol of faith, hope, and divine fulfillment. It's a moment where the ancient and the modern collide, where promises made long ago begin to take shape in real time. And as this process unfolds, believers are left to wonder, will we be witnesses to the restoration of the sacred, or will prophecy be delayed once again? As the countdown to the purification ceremony intensifies, a question looms over the entire process. How will the world respond once the third temple is rebuilt? The significance of this event extends beyond the borders of Israel. The temple has long been a symbol not only of Jewish identity, but of Christian eschatology as well. For Christians, the temple represents the fulfillment of prophecy and the return of Christ, making its construction an event that could reshape the spiritual landscape of the world. But the reality of rebuilding the third temple isn't just a religious event, it's a symbol of unity and division. For Israel, the construction represents the fulfillment of a divine promise, the restoration of a long-lost sanctity. For the rest of the world, particularly those who closely follow prophecy, it signals the beginning of the final chapter in biblical history. But will the world be ready for this dramatic shift? As tensions rise in Jerusalem, there is a deep sense of waiting for the red heifer's approval, waiting for the first stone to be laid, and waiting for the impact this event will have on the global community. Will the construction of the third temple lead to peace and spiritual renewal, or will it spark conflict that sends shockwaves through the global community? The answers remain unclear, but one thing is certain: this moment is approaching, and history will forever be changed once it unfolds. As the red heifers stand ready, the stage is set for what could be one of the most profound spiritual moments in history. The world watches, holding its breath, as the promise of the third temple nears fulfillment. But even as this monumental event unfolds, the story is far from over. The laying of the first stone, the beginning of temple worship, and the purification of the priests are only the beginning of a new chapter in the ancient prophecy. For many, the rebuilding of the third temple will mark the culmination of centuries of waiting, hoping, and praying. But for others, it's a reminder that prophecy is not always linear. The timing, the people, and the circumstances may never fully align in the way we expect. And yet these events unfold in ways that challenge our understanding of history and faith. Will the world be ready for what follows? As the first stone is laid, will it be the beginning of peace or the trigger for conflict? The answers to these questions remain to be seen. But one thing is clear: we are standing at the threshold of something that will change the world forever. As we continue to witness these events unfold, we must remember, prophecy is not just a story from the past, it's a living narrative that continues to shape the future. And as we look toward the coming days, we are reminded of the words of Jesus: "Watch therefore, for ye know not what hour your Lord doth come." Are you ready for what's coming next?